As you saw in the intro, we had the little video here, a little lightheartedness. We got to bring out the happiness, buying the dip, because unfortunately, the last couple of days have not been exciting. We do also have some huge news from World Liberty Finance. They have actually put out their team, meet the team. We got President Trump, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Barron Trump, Chase Hero, Zach Folkman, Stephen Witkoff, Zach Witkoff, Alex Witkoff, Corey Kaplan, Ryan Fang, and also Brandy Reynolds. World Liberty Financial gearing up to be a massive player in the crypto space. And in some crazy interesting news, people have been talking about MicroStrategy being a potential catalyst for the next black swan in crypto. And it came out today that MicroStrategies is going to be recategorizing their equity guidance. So Strategy today announced an update to its MicroStrategy equity at the money guidance to provide greater flexibility in executing our capital market strategy. Now, as you all know, basically what they're doing is selling shares of the company so they can then go back in and buy Bitcoin, and then they have Bitcoin as their balance sheet. As Bitcoin goes up in price, well, then the MicroStrategy company goes up in price because of the valuation of Bitcoin. But what does happen if the valuation of Bitcoin continues to fall? This new pivot that they're doing is a strategic pivot to maintain Bitcoin's yield of 25% despite shareholder concerns, as evidenced by mixed reaction on X and Reddit discussions questioning Trust and Saylor's approach. One X user, Nick O'Neill, has been absolutely losing his mind over on X about this scenario.
Guys, I had to take a break from my very busy weekend to make this video for all those MicroStrategy bag holders who are in my replies saying that I'm absolutely crazy. I've been receiving a flood of DMs from people who have been giving me inside information about not only their personal experiences working and interacting with Michael Saylor, but it seems like I have some tips on some really questionable stuff involved with their actual business.
And what's really interesting, Nick O'Neill on X, he actually is usually lighthearted, funny, making fun of himself about different things all the time, like how he makes money Bitcoin, he loses money Bitcoin, all of that stuff. Like, I lost $50,000 my Bitcoin, etc. But him to go this far into MicroStrategy, it is a little worrisome. I don't hold any MicroStrategy. I actually don't know any personal people who own MicroStrategy by Michael Saylor. But if you are going to be exposing yourself to Bitcoin, why not just be holding Bitcoin? And in some XRP news, SEC did delay the decision on Grayscale's spot XRP ETF. We'll dive deeper into that. And then also some crazy news here, 200 million XRP worth $606 million was transferred from Ripple to an unknown wallet. So did they buy another company? It'll be interesting to tell over the next couple of days or weeks what company they purchased, because that is a lot of dough right there. Now, today, the Treasury came out and said the Treasury issued a request for comment required by the Genius Act, which furthers the administration's policy of supporting the reasonable growth and use of digital assets as outlined in President Trump's executive order on strengthening American leadership in the digital finance technology space. Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent came out and said implementing the Genius Act is essential to securing American leadership in digital assets. Stablecoins will expand dollar access for billions across the globe and lead to a surge in demand for U.S. treasuries, which back stablecoins. It's a win-win-win for everyone involved: stablecoin users, stablecoin issuers, and the U.S. Treasury Department. And the reason this is important is stablecoins are the backbone of crypto trading, used for quick swaps and holding value. And the Genius Act could set clear rules requiring one-to-one reserves for proper licensing. And this might make stablecoins safer, but could also raise costs for companies like Tether or Circle. For you, this means watching how regulation shapes the market. Clear rules could bring more investors, but strict ones might slow innovation. All right, so let's jump over to XRP in the charts and look for support and resistance and what matters to you right now. Well, first and foremost, we're on the weekly candles right now, and we are looking bullish, okay? So this is our bull bear indicator. We've been green for quite some time, and we've continued to maintain that. Even though this right here on the weekly chart, it just looks like basically consolidation, right? It has this large range. Obviously, that large range is crazy because it's from $3, bodied candles, $2 to $3. So it's a $1 range it was trading in. We did finally break out of that range above these bodied candles here at 302, but then we've recently returned to those areas. But where we're at right now, price-wise, as far as where is our support and resistance on the daily charts, well, when we zoom out and we take a look here, our daily support and resistance is going to give us these areas of interest. So this is our support right here. This is our like ultimate support. If we lose this, then we could be seeing an extreme drop to the downside. That is $2.68. That's our extreme support right now. If for some reason we came all the way down here, we would be in trouble if we lost those zones. Okay. I mean, I'm talking trouble because the next daily support level, our red candle right here, could bring us back to $2.20. Now, I know a lot of people think that that's literally never going to happen. It's impossible for XRP to get there. However, it is a possibility because as we saw this price, this was the last red candle on the Heikinashi dailies before the massive run to the upside. So we're going to keep paying attention to that. Well, the last green candle before this most recent pullback is actually going to be working as our resistance to the upside, right? So we're going to disappear this one because it's not actually what we're going to be paying attention to. We want to stay in these ranges right now. And we're going to actually drop down to our 4-hour candles because it gives us a lot more realistic price expectations. So as we can see, price ran up here and it left us a pullback and a red candle, which is currently acting as our support level. That has been a support level more than one time, August 2nd, 2025. And if for some reason price breaks below our short-term area of $2.90, then that would be the more realistic support like we talked about at the beginning of the video. Now, what we also talked about yesterday is our blue line, the magic blue line on all the different time frames. Well, we talked about yesterday the fact that price was sitting up here and there was a possibility that price would come back and touch off of this 1100 exponential moving average on the 1-hour chart. It did come down and tag that. Price ran up nicely for the day today. It did break above our 30 and 50 exponential moving averages on the hourly, which is great. So right now, what we're waiting for is price to break back above the 10 exponential moving average and start making its way back up into the zone here of $2.42. Now, when we break it down to a smaller time frame, like the 4-hour time frame, we're going to get a lot more opportunities to see support and resistance on the way up as well. So as of right now, price came back down. It did dip right into our zone here that we talked about and then recovered from there. As of right now, we're looking strong on the 4-hour. We've had consecutive green candles, so we are still running to the bullish side. Short-term momentum is starting to curve up, turning green. Mid-term momentum is already outpacing it to the upside, which is real positive. Now, on the negative side of things, our long-term momentum wave on the 4-hour is running bearish. It's red. So that's not great for us right now. So we're waiting for it to break back above $3.11. And if you remember from a couple of days ago, we talked about this zone right here, this green candle needing to break. You can see when we talked about this a couple of days ago, price got to it, rejected. Price got to it again, rejected. Now we're on our third attempt back to the upside. We need to break above $3.14. $3.14 will clear that zone. Then we can start making our way up to the next level. And that next level for us is going to be this green candle for our next level of interference, which will be at $3.26. So it will be interesting to play out because as we saw when we did this drop here, we had a nice big drop, but then this one was very staticky, right? It was not a perfect drop to the downside. There was a lot of fighting it, but on our way up, it pumped right through there. Well, on our way down, it's been very staticky as we can see now. So there is a very good likelihood we could just shoot up into here. And if we still continue this momentum from the zone, finally get back to this $3.42. What we're really looking for is price to break back through this $3.58 zone so we can get back into price discovery, breaking into new all-time highs.